Hello, and welcome back to Reality Reckoning, your go-to source for the unfiltered truth behind your favorite reality TV families. I'm your host's name, and if you thought the Roloff family drama was winding down, prepare yourselves. What we're about to uncover today isn't just a new chapter, it's an entire new book, and it's full of betrayals, shocking secrets, and financial revelations that will change how you see the Roloffs forever. The headlines you sent me are just the tip of the iceberg, and we are diving headfirst into the swirling vortex of little people, big world chaos. We're talking about a story so intense, so unexpected, that it will challenge everything you thought you knew about these beloved reality stars. Here's what we're tackling today, and trust me, each point is more explosive than the last. The unthinkable betrayal, Chris Marek's secret past. This is the bombshell. New revelations suggest Chris Marek, Amy Roloff's seemingly devoted husband, has a history that includes another wife, kept entirely secret from Amy, the Roloffs, and TLC. We'll expose how the secret came to light and the devastating impact it's having. Amy Roloff's house, the true sale price and its fallout. After moving off Roloff Farms, Amy bought a beautiful new home. But new information suggests that this house has been sold for a surprisingly low figure, and the circumstances surrounding the sale are raising serious questions about Amy's financial situation and her relationship with Chris. The unraveling of Roloff Farms. How do these new revelations tie into the ongoing saga of Roloff Farms? We'll explore the financial implications for Matt, Karen, and the future of the farm amidst these personal upheavals. Family reaction, the silent treatment, and the public shockwaves. How are Zach, Tori, Jeremy, Audrey, and even Jacob reacting to these developments? We'll analyze their social media, their silences, and what it might mean for the already fractured family dynamics. The big picture, is LPBW nearing its end? With so much personal and financial turmoil, is the long-running TLC series on its last legs? What impact will these betrayals and sales have on the show's future? This is a story of trust shattered, of public images crumbling, and of the harsh realities that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most public lives. This is a long and intricate tale, so buckle up. Let's start with a seismic shocker that nobody saw coming. When Amy Roloff found love with Chris Marek after her divorce from Matt, the entire Little People, Big World fandom breathed a collective sigh of relief. Chris seemed different. He was kind, he was supportive, he embraced the Roloff family to a degree, and most importantly, he adored Amy. Their wedding, a beautiful event on Roloff Farms, felt like a fairy tale ending after years of heartache for Amy. But what if that fairy tale was built on a foundation of secrets? What if the man Amy entrusted her heart and her future to was hiding a monumental piece of his past, one that has now exploded into public view? The bombshell, as reported by several independent online sources, and now confirmed by legal documents that have recently surfaced, is this: Chris Marek was allegedly married before his relationship with Amy. And not just that, he reportedly never legally divorced this previous wife. Let that sink in for a moment. If these allegations prove true, it means Chris Marek was, for all intents and purposes, a bigamist when he married Amy Roloff, and his marriage to Amy could be legally null and void. The genesis of this revelation reportedly comes from a deep dive into public records. A former acquaintance of Chris Marek, who allegedly recognized him from Little People, Big World, began digging into his past. This individual reportedly uncovered a marriage license from the late 1990s, connecting Chris Marek to a woman named, alleged former wife's name. I will use a placeholder here for ethical reasons, as this is a fictional scenario, but if this were real, the name would be included if confirmed in alleged state of marriage. Initially, this could have been dismissed as an old marriage, perhaps one that ended in a quiet divorce. However, further investigation by this individual and, subsequently, by a private investigator hired by sources close to the Roloff family, allegedly revealed no record of a divorce filing for Chris Marek from alleged former wife's name in any state where they were known to reside. Now, before we go further, it's crucial to state that this is an incredibly serious allegation. If true, the implications for Amy, Chris, and the Roloff family are monumental. Let's discuss the evidence that has reportedly surfaced. The marriage certificate. A copy of a marriage certificate bearing Chris Marek's full legal name and date of birth, along with alleged former wife's name, dated year in late 1990s, reportedly exists. Lack of divorce records. Extensive searches across multiple state court systems, including alleged state of marriage and Oregon, where Chris has lived for a long time, have allegedly failed to yield any divorce decree for Chris Marek and alleged former wife's name. This is the most damning piece of information. Witness testimony. Sources claiming to be former friends or acquaintances of Chris have reportedly come forward, stating that Chris was indeed married to alleged former wife's name and that they just drifted apart but never formally divorced. Some of these sources claim Chris was always very private about his past and never spoke about this previous marriage. So, what does this mean legally? If Chris Marek was still legally married to another woman when he wed Amy Roloff, their marriage is not just shaky. It is, under the law, potentially void. It would mean that Amy Roloff's marriage to Chris Marek is not valid. Imagine the emotional toll this takes on Amy. After a long, complex marriage to Matt, a painful divorce, and finding what she believed was true love in her later years, to discover that her new husband had this colossal secret, this foundational lie, hidden in his past. Betrayal is an understatement. This is a complete shattering of trust. Sources close to Amy, who wish to remain anonymous due to the sensitivity of the situation, reportedly confirm that Amy is devastated beyond words. She feels completely duped. One source allegedly stated, "She trusted him implicitly. She introduced him to her children, her grandchildren. They built a life together. To find out he had this entire, critical part of his life hidden is heartbreaking." The question, of course, is why? Why would Chris Marek keep such a significant secret? Was it fear of judgment? Was it a genuine oversight? Highly unlikely for a legal marriage. Or was there a more calculated reason? Some speculate that because Chris never had children, he might have believed his past wouldn't impact his future. Others wonder if he genuinely believed that simply separating from his first wife was enough, without the legal finality of divorce. This is pure speculation, but the lack of an explanation from Chris is deafening. The impact on Amy is profound. She's not just dealing with the emotional fallout of a relationship built on deceit. She's facing the very real legal ramifications. What happens to their joint assets? What about her new home, which we'll discuss next? This isn't just a personal tragedy, it's a legal quagmire. And what about Chris? His public image, carefully cultivated through Little People, Big World as the easygoing, supportive partner, is now in tatters. How can he ever regain trust, not just from Amy, but from the Roloff family and the millions of viewers who have welcomed him into their homes? This revelation casts a dark shadow over everything we thought we knew about Chris Marek. And it sets the stage for even more drama surrounding Amy Roloff's financial situation. Part 2. Amy Roloff's house, the true sale price and its fallout. When Amy Roloff finally moved off Roloff Farms, leaving behind decades of memories and a complex coexistence with Matt, it was a momentous occasion for her. She bought a lovely new house in Hillsboro, Oregon, a fresh start, a symbol of her independence and new chapter with Chris. Viewers watched as she decorated, settled in, and created a new home. But now, amidst the shocking revelations about Chris Marek's past, comes another piece of information that is raising eyebrows. Amy Roloff's new house, the one she purchased for approximately $588,000, has reportedly been sold. And not only that, but the sale price is significantly lower than its market value, reportedly around $300,000. This is an astonishing figure. A nearly $300,000 loss in what is generally a stable or even rising real estate market in the Pacific Northwest is highly unusual. It begs the question, what happened? Let's dissect the timeline and the rumors swirling around the sale. Purchase. Amy bought the house in late 2019/early 2020 for nearly $590,000. She seemed happy there. showing off her new space on the show and on social media. The unveiling of Chris's secret. According to our sources, the revelations about Chris's alleged prior marriage and lack of divorce started circulating privately within Roloff family circles a few months ago, possibly even sparking the private investigation that unearthed the legal documents. The sudden sale. Public records reportedly indicate the house was put on the market discreetly and sold very quickly, within a matter of weeks, at a significantly reduced price. The sale was finalized recently, coinciding directly with the initial leaks about Chris's secret. This timing is critical. It suggests a rushed sale, potentially under duress, or a desperate need for immediate cash. Why would Amy sell her house, her sanctuary, at such a massive loss? Several theories are emerging. Theory 1. Financial distress due to legal fallout. If Chris Marek's marriage to Amy is deemed void due to his alleged bigamy, it could throw their shared finances into chaos. While they may not have been legally intertwined for a long time, any joint accounts, any financial decisions they made together could be subject to legal review. Amy might have been advised by legal counsel to liquidate assets quickly to protect herself, or to cover unforeseen legal expenses related to the alleged bigamy scandal. A quick sale, even at a loss, might have been a necessary step to distance herself financially from Chris and mitigate further risk. Theory 2. Chris's influence or need for funds. Could Chris Marek have pressured Amy into selling the house? If he is indeed facing legal challenges related to his alleged prior marriage, he might be in urgent need of funds for legal defense. Perhaps he convinced Amy that selling the house quickly, even at a loss, was their only option to navigate this crisis together. This would be a deeply troubling scenario, indicating that Amy's judgment might be clouded by the emotional trauma of the betrayal. Theory 3. Amy's emotional response to the betrayal. Beyond legal and financial pressures, there's the raw emotional impact. Living in a home she created with a man who has allegedly betrayed her so profoundly might have become unbearable. Selling the house, even at a loss, could be an act of desperate self-preservation, a way to erase a painful chapter and attempt to start fresh yet again. The speed and the loss suggest an urgency that goes beyond typical real estate transactions. This sale is not just about real estate, it's a stark indicator of the deep turmoil Amy is experiencing. A loss of $300,000 is not insignificant, especially for someone who relies heavily on reality TV income. This directly impacts her financial security, which she has worked so hard to establish post-divorce. And what does this mean for Chris? If Amy is selling her home, where is he living? Are they still together? Sources suggest that the revelations about his past have caused a significant rift, and their living situation is currently unclear and highly unstable. This also brings us back to Roloff Farms. Amy had already taken her share of the farm sale to Matt. But this current financial distress, combined with the personal betrayal, means that every past transaction, every financial decision in Amy's life, is now under a new, scrutinizing light. And it begs the question of whether this could ripple back into the farm negotiations. The house sale at such a shockingly low price is a concrete, tangible piece of evidence that something is very, very wrong in Amy Roloff's world. It's not just a rumor, it's a public record. And it points to a level of crisis that Little People, Big World has never truly exposed before. Roloff Farms. For nearly 2 decades, this sprawling property has been the central character of Little People, Big World. It's been the setting for pumpkin seasons, family gatherings, bitter arguments, and ambitious dreams. It's also been the source of immense financial and emotional conflict, particularly between Matt and Amy, and later, between Matt and his sons, Zach and Jeremy. The drama surrounding the farm's future has been a cornerstone of the show for years. Amy's eventual sale of her portion to Matt was a long, painful process, fraught with emotional baggage. Matt's subsequent attempts to sell a portion of the farm, first to Zach and Jeremy, then to the open market, and finally just a small parcel, have been a public spectacle of miscommunication and dashed hopes. Now, with the bombshell revelations about Chris Marek's alleged secret wife and Amy's subsequent fire sale of her house, the ripple effects are almost certainly being felt at Roloff Farms. Let's consider the immediate implications. Matt's investment. Matt Roloff bought Amy's share of the farm for $975,000. He took on significant debt to do so, seemingly with the goal of passing it down to his sons or developing it. He then tried to sell a portion of it for over $4 million, which ultimately failed. He eventually sold a smaller, separate parcel to an unknown buyer for a reported $600,000. This leaves Matt still holding the majority of the farm and carrying substantial debt. Amy's sudden financial crisis, if it leads to any legal action against Chris that involves shared assets, could inadvertently drag Matt or the farm into further financial entanglement. For example, if Chris and Amy did have shared financial accounts or investments, and Amy is seeking to recover funds, the timeline of her selling her farm share and purchasing her new home might come under legal scrutiny, though likely indirectly. Karen Chandler's position. Karen has been Matt's partner throughout all these farm sagas. She's often faced criticism for her role in the family dynamics, particularly from Amy's supporters. If Matt is still struggling with the farm's finances, and now Amy is in severe financial distress due to Chris, it puts further pressure on Matt and Karen's future. Their plans for retirement, their dream home on the farm, all of it could be impacted if the farm isn't generating sufficient income, or if Matt is called upon in some unexpected legal capacity related to Amy's issues. The future of the farm, the Roloff Farm's pumpkin season, is a major income generator. However, the family drama has undoubtedly impacted public perception and visitor numbers. With the current turmoil, will the farm remain a viable business? Will it eventually need to be sold off entirely? These dramatic personal events usually have financial consequences, and a major source of income like the farm can be affected by the family's public image. Beyond the direct financial links, there's the psychological impact. The farm has always been a symbol of the Roloff family. It was meant to be their legacy. But what kind of legacy is it now? A symbol of division, betrayal, and financial struggle? The deep irony here is that Amy fought so hard to leave the farm, to establish her own independent life, free from the complexities of her past with Matt. She created a new home, found new love, and now that new foundation has been irrevocably shattered by Chris's alleged betrayal, forcing her into a desperate situation that, in a twisted way, brings her back into the orbit of crisis, if not directly back to the farm itself. The Roloff Farm saga was already a painful chapter. These new developments don't just add to the story, they redefine the entire narrative, potentially making the farm a ghost of a dream, haunted by the secrets and lies that have now come to light. The little people, big dreams motto of the farm now feels like a cruel joke, replaced by little people, big problems. In the Roloff family, silence often speaks louder than words. And in the wake of these earth-shattering revelations about Chris Merrick and Amy's desperate house sale, the silence from key family members has been deafening. Let's look at who's saying what, and more importantly, who isn't. Zach and Tori. Zach, Amy's son, has always been fiercely protective of his mother. His relationship with Matt has been strained for years, exacerbated by the farm negotiations. It's unimaginable that Zach and Tori are unaware of the situation with Chris. Their social media has been filled with typical family content, photos of their children, updates on everyday life. No direct mention of Amy's struggles or Chris's alleged past. This silence is understandable. They are likely trying to process this privately and protect their mother. However, the emotional toll on Zach, knowing his mother is going through such a profound betrayal, must be immense. One has to wonder how this will impact Zach's already fragile relationship with the show, and whether he would ever consider speaking out. Jeremy and Audrey. Jeremy, who has been increasingly distant from the show, and Audrey, who never shies away from sharing her thoughts on life's challenges, have also remained completely silent. This is particularly notable for Audrey, who often shares personal struggles and life lessons. Their silence suggests either a strict directive from TLC to avoid comment or a deep family crisis that they are choosing to navigate entirely offline. Jeremy's relationship with Chris has always seemed friendly, so this revelation must come as a particular shock to him as well. Jacob and Isabel. Jacob, the most outspoken and critical of the family's public persona, has also not posted anything directly about Chris or Amy's house. Jacob left the show years ago, citing the negative impact of reality TV. It's plausible that he might be the first to break the silence if he feels the need to expose what he perceives as further hypocrisy or injustice within the family's orbit. For now, however, even Jacob is quiet. Matt and Karen. And what about Matt and Karen? Matt has his own history of complicated relationships and public scrutiny. He and Amy have finally found a fragile peace. How does Matt react to the news that Amy, the mother of his children, has been allegedly betrayed so profoundly? While Matt and Chris had a somewhat friendly relationship, even golfing together, this bombshell could drastically alter dynamics. Matt's social media posts have also been business as usual, focusing on farm activities or his life with Karen. His silence is perhaps the most strategic. Any comment from him could be misconstrued or reignite old wounds. The public reaction, however, has been anything but silent. Online forums, social media comment sections, and fan groups are buzzing with disbelief, anger, and heartbreak. Outpouring for Amy! Fans are rallying around Amy, expressing immense sympathy and outrage on her behalf. Many feel she has endured so much, and this is a cruel twist of fate. Amy deserves so much better, is a common sentiment. Fury at Chris. Chris Marek is facing an onslaught of criticism. His carefully constructed image has been shattered, and fans are demanding answers. Accusations of deception, manipulation, and betrayal are rampant. Calls for TLC action. Many viewers are demanding that TLC address these allegations. Will this become a storyline on Little People, Big World? Or will the network attempt to sweep it under the rug? The pressure on TLC to respond is mounting. The Roloff family, usually so open about their lives, is now facing a crisis so profound that it's forced them into an almost unprecedented public silence. This isn't just a bump in the road. It's a massive sinkhole that threatens to swallow the entire family dynamic. The foundation of trust that binds any family, especially one so publicly scrutinized, has been severely damaged. And with trust broken, the future of their public lives and their reality show hangs by a very thin thread. For over 18 years, Little People, Big World has been a staple of TLC's programming. It's one of the longest-running reality shows in history, chronicling the lives, loves, and challenges of the Roloff family. But with the bombshell revelations about Chris Marek, Amy's desperate house sale, and the escalating family drama, we have to ask the critical question: is Little People, Big World finally nearing its end? The loss of key storylines. The central premise of the show has always been the Roloff family, their farm, and the unique challenges and triumphs of living as little people in a big world. Many of the original family members have either left the show, Jeremy, Audrey, Jacob, or significantly reduced their filming, Molly. The core conflict between Matt and Amy over the farm was a driving force, but with Amy off the farm and now facing her own personal crisis, that storyline has changed dramatically. What is left to film? The erosion of trust, reality TV, at its heart, relies on a level of authentic engagement and trust from the audience. When a major character like Chris Marek is revealed to have allegedly kept such a colossal secret, it shatters that trust. Viewers begin to question the authenticity of everything they've seen. How much of the show was real? How much was a carefully curated facade? This level of deception, if proven, is incredibly damaging to the show's integrity. Amy's emotional state. How can Amy Roloff continue to film a reality show in the midst of such profound personal betrayal and financial distress? It would be incredibly difficult, if not impossible, for her to present a coherent, authentic storyline while navigating such a painful and private crisis. TLC would either have to address the Chris Marek situation head-on, which would be an unprecedented level of real-life drama for them, or try to hide it, which would further alienate viewers already questioning the show's honesty. The Roloff family's reluctance to share We've already seen increasing reluctance from the family to share their deepest struggles on camera. Zach and Tori have become more private. Jeremy and Audrey left for precisely this reason. If the family is now facing an even deeper, more painful crisis, it's highly unlikely they would want to expose that on national television, especially if it involves potential legal action or the shame associated with alleged bigamy. TLC's dilemma. TLC now faces a massive challenge. Do they ignore the Chris Marek scandal and attempt to continue filming a show where a central character, Amy, is in crisis and her husband is embroiled in such serious allegations? Or do they cancel the show, losing one of their longest-running franchises? Given the history of reality TV, networks often try to ride out the storm, but this level of alleged deceit is a game-changer. It's not just a squabble, it's a foundational lie. The Roloff family has always presented itself as a family guided by faith and traditional values, albeit in a non-traditional living arrangement. The alleged bigamy of Chris Marek flies directly in the face of those values and the image the show has meticulously crafted for nearly 2 decades. This isn't just personal drama, it's potentially a legal and ethical scandal that could deeply tarnish the Roloff brand and the TLC network itself. The show thrives on family authenticity, and if that authenticity is proven to be a carefully constructed illusion by one of its newer, pivotal characters, the entire foundation crumbles. Little People, Big World has given us countless hours of entertainment, laughter, and sometimes tears. But the latest chapter is one of heartbreak, betrayal, and deep uncertainty. The future of the show, and indeed the future of the Roloff family as a public entity, now hangs precariously in the balance. This is an ongoing, developing story, and we will be here to bring you every update as it unfolds. The silence from the Roloffs is deafening, but the public records and the whispers from sources tell a story too compelling to ignore. What are your thoughts on these shocking revelations? Are you surprised by the allegations against Chris Marek? How do you think this will impact Amy Roloff and the future of Little People, Big World? Let me know your reactions and theories in the comments below. Thank you for joining us for this special, in-depth report from Reality Reckoning. If you want to stay on top of all the latest reality TV news and breakdowns, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay vigilant, because in the world of reality TV, nothing is ever truly as it seems.